Alright everybody, welcome back in. This is another Stormgate cast, and this one's coming from another one of our community members. I haven't cast a game of his in a while, so welcome back to the channel. This is Corsair. And in this game, and in fact we're going to see a couple of games here, Corsair is going to be playing against PLSTN. PLSTN. I haven't cast a game from PLSTN before. But both of these players are high up on the leaderboard, not exactly at the very top, but still pretty high up there. So hopefully they will give us a couple good games here. Corsair, playing in the Vanguard here, is opened with the barracks for an early Lancer and is now going for the expansion. We're out here on Boneyard, which is one of the oldest maps, but also considered not one of the greatest maps anymore. I've always kind of liked it, but its expansion pattern is a little bit strange. And it looks like we've got early production buildings out for PLSTN as well as the second shrine. We have two fiends on the way. Where did that Lancer go? I don't see the Lancer. There's a Lancer. Did the Lancers come to attack? I don't think so. But we have fiends in here attacking Corsairs. Servos turn to fight. Lancer comes back. The Lancer will win against the fiends. So the fiends run away. And there's two Lancers there, so I must have just lost track of one of the Lancers, unless probably came back and joined, unless that's another third Lancer and the second one somehow got lost somewhere, maybe killed by those fiends. Fiends hiding in the long grass there. The Lancer's taking a long way around. There is a third shrine going down for PLSTN. Fiends once back, harassing the Ethereum. Servos turn to fight. One servo goes down. Lancer comes back to try and defend the servos, and for the moment saves the rest of them. More racks going down. We have now a biokinetics lab, so we can start producing exos. We can also start doing our upgrades. Lancers come back. They had ran all the way down here, but didn't go all the way to the third and then come back. They're going to the healing shrine there. And the fiends are once again, PLSTN is being a good harasser with these fiends. Has got, I think, 2 servos already.
Dimensional rift detected. A Stormgate will activate soon.
And might lose his fiends here. Nope. Does get them away. Maybe runs them to the wellspring. No! He leaves them on the ramp and they get chopped into little bits. So, the first Stormgate's up. It's the middle Stormgate. We have bases over here. We got a few units for PLSTN. Imps transferring, a few more gaunts out. But the Lancers and Exos taking out the Stormgate here. And this is a pretty good force that could contend. Although 3 Lancers, 3 Exos is a pretty nice force for a Vanguard as well. Would become a micro battle. But it looks like PLSTN is just going to allow the Stormgate to be captured by Corsair, and Corsair is going to pop out a creeping horror and is looking to do some aggression. And the creeping horror might be enough to add a little slow and extra DPS here, but it looks like Corsair is going for a potential third. There is no such third here. Doesn't see any shroud and assumes that means no base, which is accurate. And here he comes up the ramp. PLSTN is indeed ready for this. Has a pretty good force. It makes even a little concave there before he rushes at the ramp. And I think Corsair wisely saying, okay, that probably wasn't the right time to attack. Or maybe he's deciding the wrong place and regroups and comes up here. PLSTN's already moved his units over here. And again, that's looking like it's a better force here for PLSTN, especially from Defender's advantage, fighting on the Shroud and all. But the Lancers in the front have been doing their job, which is just tanking, while the Exos in the back were able to pick off some units. And PLSTN now looks like he's following. No, he is moving forward to try and maybe put a defensive position here to put up a third base. Same thing going on for Corsair, third base, while going to heal up in the Wellspring. Creeping Horror coming at the end of its slower movement speed. What do we got going on here? We have, we're updating upgrading our med techs, getting Nano Swarm. So I imagine we're going to start seeing med techs pop in. We have our first one about to arrive. There it is. And both armies now move into this third. Corsair had good game sense there to bring his army into a defensive position before this attack. And that means he is going to be able to get his units back here, although he wants to get in a good position to fight. And now there's a miasma on the ground right in where he's fighting. That is not good. All his units taking massive damage from the miasma. Phantoms pop out as well. But that means this base is going down. The sentry post is down. Another miasma there on the round, making it impossible for Corsair to push up in here. And now PLSTN is going to destroy this base and win the game with a well played from Corsair. Alright friends, we've got a rematch now. Once again, in the Infernal faction, this is PLSTN. And his opponent and submitter of these games, once again, thanks to Corsair. And this game, we're on Broken Crown now. Last game was, of course, on Boneyard, where I thought Corsair got out to a pretty good advantage there, but that final battle definitely went in PLSTN's favor, particularly because he used miasma, something we don't see as much. And I called it miasma, and I forgot it's now called necrotic hex field. Necrotic hex field. It's been changed, and that's when we changed from we changed to curse. What was it before? I've forgotten. It was like the plague axes, which when we made some of those changes, we no longer had plague, etc. We also changed the name of the helicarrier to a hurricane. A few of these changes went. I didn't even notice that the names got changed, so I'm still working on it. Necrotic hex field is a new thing, and I'll try and stay on it. Okay, wow, PLSTN is opened with 4 fiends this time. Last game he opened with 2 and got a lot of good harass off. This could be better. We do have a Lancer here ready for any fiend showing up. Lancer immediately pops out there and says, go ahead, fiends, make my day. These are overcharged bobs too. These are overcharged servos. Fiends trying to put a little damage down, but even with 4 of them here, they might have been able to jump on that one servo. Putting down damage on the command post really doesn't do anything. It can always just be repaired up. More fiends showing up though. This is fiend harass. 6 fiends. Okay, now that damage is putting down some serious damage just because the DPS from fiends is significant. Especially when you have 8 of them now. You don't really want them fighting the Lancers because they're too squishy. Okay, going for a surround on the Lancers. Can they kill a Lancer? Ooh, they do get a Lancer. Great DPS here. Lancer getting into a nice wedge. Losing, I think, 2 fiends there. Another Lancer pops out. Not sure if he wants to go for the surround again. These fiends are weak. Maybe you want to go to the Wellspring and heal up for a second. So claiming a Lancer pretty good, but at the cost of 2 fiends. They didn't heal up. Ay. More fiends going down. More fiends going down. Ah, wow. Okay. Going for Lancers there, as I sort of suggested earlier, not the right idea. The Lancers just absolutely destroy fiends. That Lancer was able to stay alive. This is the Stormgate activates. They're going to the Wellspring. Healing up. You could leave the weak one there.
A Stormgate has appeared.
Servos. That's curious. They're making a sentry post here. Now that's good for this Stormgate, but there's no guarantee the next Stormgate's going to arrive here. But one thing you can do, of course, is salvage the sentry posts afterwards. Get your money back. What are we going to get here? We get Soulforge? Yeah, and extra hedgehogs popped out immediately. Remember, on lower supply units you get 2, and that's what we saw there. 2 hedgehogs popped. If you do it on the lancers, you get 2 lancers. You do it on a servo, you get 2 servos. I'm not sure what the supply limit is for that. At some point, you only get 1. And this is a nice little push from Corsair. There are defensive units here. Takes out the effigies first to reduce some of the shroud. And this time, instead of exos and lancers, it's hedgehogs and lancers. 1 brute goes down. Hedgehogs say, fine, we're going to go for your base. There's a shroud stone there. And now he's going to go around the other side, maybe, and take out the shroud. So it takes out the effigy. Units coming over here to defend, but the shroud stone goes down. Lancer goes down. This little skirmish so far, not a lot of units lost. A lot of weak lancers in the front, though. And that's usually when you're going to want to pull back. And it looks like Corsair might be going to the Wellspring or going back to this Stormgate, it looks like. And PLSTN is hanging out on this back at his 3rd base to try and stay in a defensive position. Weaver's popping out. Weavers can be good against hedgehogs because hedgehogs are speedy and the weavers will be able to lash them in and hopefully kill one. More hedgehogs being added as we're healing up at the Wellspring. And a scout brute comes and sees the army here healing up. Was probably trying to see if there's a 3rd base here. And we got an imp going out here, probably making a 4th for PLSTN. First Vulcan here, hanging out of the Stormgate, anticipating this might be where the Stormgate is. That would be cool, because that's where the buzzsaw cannon still is. Next Stormgate will launch in about 20 seconds. Came to this 3rd base here. There is none, but we know what the Vulcan here is for.
Dimensional rift detected. A Stormgate will activate soon.
Vulcan's going for the Hellforge. Hellforge was researching the Infernal Fury. It gets cancelled as a result. That was a huge win, actually, for Corsair, because it means those brutes will not have charged for at least another 2 minutes.
Has appeared.
Yes, put down another Hellforge and has to start the research again. And this Stormgate appears. This is actually very lucky for Corsair. Had a 20% chance of getting this again, and of course he does. The buzzsaw cannon doing double duty now. First medtech showing up. This force for Corsair is starting to look kind of nasty. And what do we get out of there? Ooh, we get some Void Prowlers. And as long as you have, you know, control to control both these groups, you can do some serious harass with this. This is perfect. He's going to come out here. Yes. He's pulling the unit, the army out. And there is going to be a battle here at the middle. This is where the Void Prowlers pop out. They are going for buildings, it looks like. Going for the production, which I like. I think that's the kind of harass that we should see more of in this game. Although Void Prowlers are really good at killing units, too. This is just a mashup of armies here. Vulcans keep getting lashed into the high ground and they get destroyed. But what did the Void Prowlers get done? It's not clear. They didn't kill any buildings, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Corsair was microing them very well, but they did get some damage done up here. And Corsair's pulling back. It was a good attempt, but I don't think he got the damage he wanted. In fact, the supply is now in PLSTN's favor, and his army is starting to look pretty good with Weavers, Hellborn added in here. And did he get another health? Oh, yes, he does. He's now got the Infernal Fury researching again. while we have master training for medtechs going down for Corsair. He's got one Void Prowler left, hanging out in the... No, he's going to send it out. A single Void Prowler can still do a lot of damage. And this is mostly hogs now. And wow, good concave there at the bottom of that ramp to chase the units back. Void Prowler fighting against a Tribute Pyre here. Corsair pulls back, and the whole army going to deal with this Void Prowler. And it does get taken out. It looks like it's pretty tanky, actually. And again, PLSTN has pulled ahead in supply after that battle. So Corsair is now kind of more defensive. Isn't trying to push out across the map. And here comes PLSTN's force. Oh, the Hedgehogs. Wow, actually a small Hedgehog force trying to get a Weaver. No, they're going to lose all the Hedgehogs. That's not great. But other Hedgehogs here trying to get a Hellborn cut out of the map. These little Hedgehog forces not doing what they want to. Yeah, have to retreat here.
Dimensional rift
Stormgate,
detected.
third
A
Stormgate here
will
again.
activate
That's
soon.
ridiculous. Luckily there is a Buzzsaw cannon here. This will be an interesting little tug of war. Supply definitely in the favor of PLSTN. But fighting, ooh, and trying to go for a nice concave here.
A Stormgate has appeared.
Atlas on the low ground. Ah, very curious. As PLSTN is hoping to get a flank here on the army. We have a couple of, what are these bad boys called again? Sentinels, I forgot about that. And they're dropping their stasis drones on some of the Weavers here. It looks like Swarm Mother comes out for PLSTN. And we got a serious battle here as a giant army is pushing in on Corsair. This is a nasty, nasty attack here. Swarm Mother with all her little swarm babies. Another stasis drone on a Weaver. But Corsair, for the moment, looks like he is held and has pushed back PLSTN. Who doesn't want to fight into the meat grinder here where there are a couple Atlases, but that's it. So PLSTN up on now getting, what's the 6th base going? And Corsair on 4 bases, doing his best to stay in it. Still only 30 supply behind, so not taking a lot of losses in those skirmishes. Hornets added as well. A really nice mixture of units for both players here. Getting into a nice late game collection. We even have some Shadow Flyers here now to try and deal with the Sentinels and the Hornets. And Lancer run by. What do we got going here? These are also scout farms, which are becoming popular for the Infernal players. These Lancers stop to fight some gremlins. You don't usually want to do that. You want to kill workers. This is what we got going on here. And the whole army now is moving back. Well, a lot of the army, actually half the army is here. And this is kind of a vulnerable part. This base is going to go down. And as the army turns to fight, again, this is a vulnerable army. It's got lots of high-tech units in it. First Hurricane shows up, drops a bombing run. And those Lancers, looks like they cleaned up a lot of the units there. A few of them are going to get killed here. And again, the Hellborns and such. That's a really nice high-tech army there. But it is also kind of vulnerable as the Hedgehogs are just taking down Weavers there for almost for free. Shadow Flyers impacting on some Hornets. Not getting great impacts, but still taking out a Hornet. And these Gaunts on the front line now. Here we are attacking into the Atlas. The Atlas getting a couple of good shots off before it goes down. Is there an Atlas on the low ground? Yes. They pull back the fight by the Atlas. It's going to get a couple good shots off before it gets slashed and taken out as well. More Atlases back here. Luckily, being able to pull back into these matrix of Atlases. Another lash in. Another Atlas shows up to defend. Wow, Hurricane pops out using its bombing run. We just got a ton of Hellborn in the back, laying down massive damage. Luckily, a lot of them are aggroed on the buildings right now, so they are not attacking the units. And that means that the units of Corsair are able to take out the front line, and now it's just Hellborns here. Hellborn are nasty creatures, but if they have no front line, they become very, very vulnerable. Shadow Flyers up in the air, impact on the Hornets, but do not kill any, and these Hellborn are just going to get picked off. And as they do, you're going to watch the supply just plummet for PLSTN here. Each of these are a high supply unit, and each one going down. We're now seeing the supply lead back in the favor of Corsair, dropping another bombing run, killing more Hellborns here. The Hurricane out front just bravely tanking, saying, go ahead, send your Shadow Flyers at me, send your Gaunts at me, I'm the tank. He then moves back before he dies. Pretty good push out here. A Vulcan arriving. Going to be a good answer to these frontline units for PLSTN. And we still hear more of these Hellborns going down. Hellborns dying. Weavers dying. That means we now have a 50 supply lead. Shadow Flyers trying to come out here and do some damage. Where did that Hurricane go? Did it get away free? It's not clear. This is a forward base for PLSTN, and it's going to easily be taken out. Corsair now with the supply lead. Managing to win that critical battle at his base. And coming out on top here so far. But we see the Stormgate is being attacked by PLSTN, who may be able to capture it. Indeed he does. Right at the last second. What will he get? This is with the zone now controlled by Corsair. It's hard to pick here. You get a rune or something, it's just going to die. And it's a deep one who gets focus fire down right away. Really good by Corsair there. To just sort of camp there. One Hedgehog sieged up. There we go, unsieged. And now it might be Corsair's opportunity to push here. Doesn't want to run into the same problem that PLSTN ran into, which is overcommitting and then losing units. So here we have these units all healing up at the wellspring, as they should. A couple Hurricanes slowly regrouping with the army here. And this is the right way to push. Go to the 5th base, up here, out of the production. Not as much defender's advantage. Units on the low ground doing a good job. Actually, the Vulcans there's not enough DPS to, even though they got lashed in, the Vulcans are able to just shoot through a lot of the units. And the Hurricanes up above helping out there, meaning the army up on the high ground just mutilated PLSTN's forces, including the imps there. And that's going to be GG from PLSTN in game number 2. And shout out to Corsair for sharing these games with me.